Hey, what's going on, good people? Armand Owens with the Unsung Leader coming at you today with today's leadership nugget. So, how do you handle horrible bosses? Also known as horrible leaders, bad leaders, however you want to classify them. How do you deal with them? Don't have a lot of leverage because they are appointed above you. So, how do you deal with a relationship that may not be the best? Well, first and foremost, you want to make sure that the people that you're classifying as horrible bosses or horrible leaders, let's make sure they're actually horrible bosses or horrible leaders. A lot of times when we have negative interactions, we have negative relationships with people, especially those that have been appointed above us. What we see in them is a lot of times a projection. The negative that we see in them is a lot of times a projection of our own insecurities. All right. So what biases do you have that are underlying underneath the surface that are keeping you from seeing the best in the person that is leading you? What is holding? What are the things that are holding you back from seeing the best possible version of them? And I would charge you to ask yourself the question: is there anything in me that's keeping me from seeing the best in them? Because those biases that we hold true, those biases that run very, very quietly under the surface of our consciousness, keep us from seeing the best in people. So let's make sure they're actually horrible. Let's make sure that they're actually bad leaders. When we judge ourselves, when we look at ourselves, when we classify ourselves in anything that we do, we judge ourselves by our intentions. Hey, I didn't intend for that to happen that way. This is what I wanted to do, regardless of what the action was, regardless of how it may have been perceived by somebody else. Well, I ain't intend to do that. Well, we judge ourselves by our intentions, not by our actions. How about we give somebody else the benefit of the doubt as well? How about we judge other people by their intentions rather than their actions? Or at least for a second, be willing to consider what they're trying to intend was from a positive perspective rather than from a negative perspective. This is just step one. This is assuming that the person that you're, that is the leader, is coming from a good position. So you got to make sure that you're dealing with yourself first. Coming with the next step tomorrow. Peace.